want to achieve through personal training. The most obvious example is if you have a weight loss goal. It doesn't really matter whether you need to lose 5 stone in weight or just 1 stone. What you eat, and indeed what you drink, is just as important to achieving that goal as how you train. Arguably, it's more important, and it will definitely have a big impact on how effective your training is, and even just the extent to which you feel like training, how much energy levels you have. So, how do we go about that? Basically, we do not prescribe food plans. We fundamentally don't believe in that. Because if you go down that route, you're effectively just prescribing someone a fixed diet. Diets, as we know, are never sustainable. How many people do you know who have been on a diet for a year? Even if they have been, at some point it comes to an end. So the overriding question is what happens then? What we believe in is actually teaching you basic fundamental principles that you can employ not just for the next 3 months, 6 months, a year, but for the rest of your life. So there's a fundamental underlying education process that we believe in and that we offer via our personal training. So what we'd actually do in practice is we'd ask you to complete a food diary, basically summarising everything that you eat and drink over the course of a week. And we'll discuss that with you at your personal training session, and maybe look at, for example, in the first week, the 3 first quick wins that you can change to your eating and drinking habits that will give you the best results to begin with, and then over the weeks there'll be a sort of continual process of refining that. But what you must learn is actually how to deal with the curveballs, because it's very easy if you have a regular Monday to Friday week. You know what the situations are going to be. You've got a normal routine, everything's fine, you can do a little bit more food preparation and so on. That's great. But there will come a time, inevitably in life, where something happens. Maybe you're travelling for work, maybe something happened, you couldn't prepare some food in advance, and you find yourself in a petrol station, for example, and there's really no choices in terms of food that you can grab that are, in keeping maybe with the principles that we were teaching. So what we encourage you to do is actually, in that case, is kind of tempting just to sort of throw in the towel and say, oh, there's nothing great here, I may as well just grab a chocolate bar or something unhealthy. It's those moments that really matter. Sometimes it's as much about having the knowledge to choose the least bad option rather than necessarily striving for perfection every time. Another example, you may be socialising, you may be going around a friend's house, for a meal, and what they cook isn't necessarily something that you cook, knowing what you know, what we've taught you about nutrition. That's fine. So you just have to learn how to make the best of these situations that are not ideal. So what it all boils down to is just teaching you to think for yourself. So that whatever happens, whether you're away from home, just something crazy happens at work or in your home life, if you're on holiday, basically when the variables are just less out of your control, how can you make the most or mitigate the damage of a potentially damaging situation? So to come back to the question, do you offer food plans? No, we don't. Do we offer nutritional guidance? Yes, absolutely we do. We work with you on a week-to-week basis to gradually improve your nutrition. If you've got a big weight loss goal, that will feature more majorly, especially in the early weeks or months of your training. But even if you've got a performance goal, if you're training for a half marathon or a marathon, for example, we'll still cover nutrition, maybe just to a lesser extent, because at the end of the day, what you eat is fuel for that event. So it's important that you tick the right boxes in that extent. So I hope that answers the question, and please do send us any more questions that you have about our personal training or our group fitness program that we offer here in our lovely studio in Rawwood and Bassett. We'll see you again soon.